I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching GEEKCASTER. I'm Michael Seven Michael, and today we have in the studio
Dayveonne Bussey.
Corey Davis.
And Willie Smith.
and our special guest today, Willie Smith.
How y'all doing?
Alrighty. We're doing good, man. So anyone checking us out, you definitely want to check out the after show because we're already talking about what we're going to talk about later on. All right, but for this show, everything sci-fi, fantasy, geek culture. Yes, so we're going to talk about a couple films. We're also going to learn a little bit more about our guests, some series. So you definitely want to be around, and trust me, the after show, you definitely want to be around for that as well. All right, so Corey.
Yes.
Let's start out with your baby, because it's easy to go with Boba, Book of Boba Fett first. It's easy to go into Peacemaker first. But because there's already drama on it, we're going to jump into Raised by Wolves. This is a series that I saw the first season. I like most of it. I think the overall vibe is great. 1 or 2 episodes near the end of the end of the first season I had issues with. But you already got to season 2 and you're loving it, right?
Yes. The first episode, if you haven't caught yourself up and you just spent that time and go right into the second episode, you can be a little bit lost. Mm-hmm. But you watched it recently and you go right into the second season. It's a good flow. It picks up right where it left off, and there's some new elements, and they're in a new place on this new planet, and I just can't get enough of it.
Now, Raised by Wolves, it starts out with a male droid and a female droid, or should I say robot? How do they call themselves in this?
They're advanced life forms, and they are referred to as mother and father. They're androids.
And basically they go to another planet, and their whole thing is to keep the human race going, basically. Right?
It is a real planet. It is a real planet that actually exists in the galaxy. It's called Kevlar 22b. It is the only planet that scientists have found so far that is most like Earth. And if we were to ever terraform a planet, we would travel the 600 light years to this planet. And that's what they did in the show.
Excellent. So what's so special about season 2 versus season 1?
So this show is full of allegories, full of meaning and symbolisms. We only go deeper into the meanings of religion and atheists and how we as a society grow and thrive. So if you didn't get enough of that in season 1, they ramp it up to another level in season 2.
Wow. Now, Dayveonne, did you see this at all, or you just never jumped into it?
Never jumped into it.
Because he's boring.
Willie, did you get a chance to see Raised by Wolves?
I did not, but I'm intrigued now. It sounds very interesting.
I could see from talking to you a little bit, I could see you digging it. I mean, I would definitely co-sign the role of the man in the family, the role of the woman in the family. So sex roles are there, religion is there. Society, if society had to reboot, what would you do? If society basically had to keep itself in check, how do you keep yourself in check in this sci-fi futuristic thing? I think it's very interesting. I agree, it poses a lot of questions, or brings up conversations that I think could be good. I didn't like this flashback, the way they used flashbacks, the way they used some of the storytelling did bother me because it wasn't too clear of where they were going with it, and it wasn't necessary because it had such a good beginning I just feel as from writing wise, like they went some places they didn't really need to go. Now, Corey, because you saw season 2, did they clean any of that up?
No.
Okay.
No, but the whole
Just
thing.
squeeze that no. He's like, I want to say yes, but no.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the biggest question in season 2 is a carryover question from season 1, and that basically is what is humanity.
Okay.
And they go deeper into that question in season 2 without giving anything away. I'm trying to be as vague as possible, but give as much as I can.
Gotcha.
It's a little delicate tightrope.
All right. So let's move on to Peacemaker. Peacemaker, it is definitely one of the Amazon, let me just take superheroes and flip it, even though he is a Marvel character. So they didn't flip
No,
things
he's
too
a
much like the
DC.
boys.
DC.
It's DC? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. It's good because it was a spin-off of the Suicide Squad.
That's
Garbage.
You think which
I
one?
kick him
Suicide
out,
Squad
please?
was garbage or Peacemaker?
Both.
No, can I definitely kick him out, please, God? Can I kick him out?
Well, let's say the positives. They have an amazing cast. I mean, they have John Cena, Jennifer Holland, Freddie Stroma, Danielle Brooks, and boom, 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 Danielle Brooks. She's British, so that was interesting to see her play an American. So that was interesting. I mean, they keep doing that too. Even though I'm glad to see people working, there's a lot of people in America that you could hire too. I don't know why they only hiring British black actors, but that's another show.
She did such a fantastic job as the new Black.
She's a great actress. I like her a lot. So again, happy to see her, but I mean, at some point, you hire people here. But anyway, so what is your problem with Peacemaker? And can you just tell the audience, if they haven't seen it, what is the basic plot?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You.
The opening intro, I've never seen an intro where I just wanted to just off myself, because that was just the most worthless intro I have ever seen, ever. It's the weirdest dance number. Like, why are we doing this? It's so tropey. It's so tropey. I don't like this new happy direction that DC is going. It's like dark but funny. It's like they're trying to do their thing but copy Marvel at the same time. And for me, it just does not work. I think John Cena is a phenomenal actor. I think he's doing what he can with this role, but the storyline behind Pacemaker is not that captivating to me.
Okay, and Dayveonne? Because you like it a lot, so.
Yes, because pretty much I'm going to have to disagree with Corey.
Oh.
The dance intro is freaking phenomenal, number one. It's the right direction for DC, yes, because, yes. Let me finish. And number two, the acting and the story is what it's supposed to be. They wanted to be campy. They wanted to be comic book related a little bit, but at the same time, have a story understanding the character. John Cena is doing a phenomenal job, just like the rest of the cast. If you read the comic books about Peacemaker, you would truly understand the whole scenario of this whole show.
Okay.
It's a tropey mess.
Yeah. Now, I saw the first episode. I'll work backwards here. Where it ended off, I have to say, I would like to see another episode. But as I move back in my mind of what I've experienced, I'm not that motivated to see another episode.
Thank you.
So I have to co-sign. It was a little much for me, but you know what? I'm the same guy. It took me a while to, WandaVision took me a while to settle in, and then I liked it. There's a couple series where I'm like, okay, so I would like to give it another shot, But
Yes, give it another shot.
The intro was too campy. I didn't need that. I felt, why am I watching this? So I did have that feeling. What was the point of this?
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. That was a wrong. That was a wrong intro. That was bad direction.
No, it wasn't.
Willie, did
Everyone
you
was
see it,
off
Willie?
beat. It was, oh my gosh. I couldn't. I was just cringing so hard.
Did you see that, Willie? Peacemaker or no?
I haven't seen Peacemaker, but a friend of mine was just telling me about that intro, and he was describing it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when he described it, I was like, now I really do want to watch this show because it sounds ridiculous. And that's just kind of the vibe I got from what Peacemaker is supposed to be. It's supposed to be ridiculous. So as long as it's supposed to be ridiculous, then I'll accept, ridiculousness.
There's good ridiculous. There's good ridiculous. Like, to this, and then there's just like, why am I watching this kind of ridiculousness?
Well, you know what Willie said right now, I mean, that is kind of deep. If you look at it, maybe that's what they were, again, trying to get into the mindset of why did they, because this has been done before, the campy, big, I mean, not necessarily with comic book characters, but we've seen it before with TV shows with the big intro going back to, 1930s type, choreography for like Singing in the Rain era. I don't know.
We talked about this with Army of Thieves,
mm-hmm.
and then we went with
that was
Army
brilliant.
of Thieves.
It worked with Army of Thieves.
It was a movie of a sub-character that no one cared about, and then we have this movie, Suicide Squad, and then there's one character, because it's John Cena, and they make a whole show of that. Who really cares about Peacemaker? It's not that
He is an important person in a DC series, in the DC universe.
Now you know
if
what?
I'm going
to use this as a good transition because Willie, you're a visual artist. Is that how you describe yourself, as a visual artist?
Yeah.
So tell people a little bit about what you do.
Basically, I would say I really got into, I draw, pretty much I draw, but I got into drawing because of comic books. And ultimately I wanted to become a comic book artist, and that's still something I want to do. I've even done a webcomic with my brother at one point, but really what I do now, I got a lot of attention because I was doing a lot of fan art of pro wrestlers, and the pro wrestlers themselves would see the art and share it. And then, because of that, people started coming to my page. And then from there, they would either want drawings of their favorite wrestlers, or let's say like they might want a drawing of Peacemaker, or they might want a drawing of themselves dressed as Peacemaker, or, whatever. I just did like a one-piece drawing for a client earlier this week. So really, yeah, I'm just a illustrator, a comic book illustrator.
That's cool. Now, one of the things that I said this is a good transition because before the show, you said you don't really get a chance to watch a lot of shows because you're drawing all the time. What does it take to do what you do, especially for all those out there that want to do what you do?
Yeah.
Right. So like for me, if I'm drawing, it's me, a sheet of paper, a pencil, and I'm looking down like this. And you have to if you want to get a lot of artwork done, because that's the thing too, like when you're doing commission work, you want to get as many commissions done, because more commissions you get done, the more money you make in a month.
Right.
So you have to find your rhythm, and you can't do that if you're drawing, stopping, looking at a scene, drawing, stopping, looking at a scene. Some people can watch TV shows and just kind of listen to it and kind of gather what's going on. But for me, being a visual artist, when I'm watching a show, I got to look at it. I got to see how the camera angle works, how to get from one scene to the next shot.
Gotcha.
I want to study the costumes. I want to study lighting. I want to study everything. So like I give myself normally maybe 2 days a week to just sit and watch some shows, and that's put the sketchbook aside, sit and just watch,
Are you a
but you don't get to
guy?
do that a lot.
like an audio podcast guy?
To a certain degree. To a certain degree, yeah. Again, I like to watch a lot of pro wrestling, so I like listening to a lot of wrestling podcasts where you hear the wrestlers out of character talk about how they put together a match. You know, 'cause I'm very fascinated by that aspect of it. So I listen to a lot of that. That's really about it as far as podcasts. Now, lately, it's mostly music and action figure reviews. That's about it. Just something that I can just have on in the background and I can just listen to, and then I can just kind of zone out and draw and not have to look up.
So are you big into games or apps or anything, or?
I like playing video games. I'm a big fighting game fan. I like Street Fighter, love Guilty Gear. But again, that's one of those things is like I have to set aside a day and just sit and play the game. But then sometimes I just go weeks without touching my game. Even right now, my brother has my PlayStation 4. I was like, use it. I'm not going to be able to play it anytime soon with all the work I have lined up.
So I'm going to punch up your Instagram just so people could see some of your art.
All right.
Alrighty, so I'm doing that and we're live, and I'm doing that as we speak, so you can't see it, but people watching can see some of your stuff there. So, you know what? And speaking of apps, there's a movie that I just came across called Countdown. And it definitely was, I mean, we've seen this before, haven't we, guys? This premise where it's either a videotape or audio recording or phone call where...
The death.
Yeah.
Unintended.
What did you guys think of Countdown? And and I know I'm talking fast and we know what we're talking about. Just in case you guys don't know what we're talking about, you basically download this app and the app tells you how long you have to live. And people started doing it and they started dying. So that's what it's about.
I'm gonna say it's a watered down Final Destination just with a countdown.
Okay.
What was the other one where I think it was friend request or something like that? They were on a Skype call and there was some entity with it. It's like it's like that meets Final Destination meets every other movie in that genre. It's the same.
Happy Death Day.
Yeah, Happy Death Day, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like for a second, I thought y'all were talking like about an actual app at first.
Well, they do have actual.
I was like, no, that's.
They do have.
I was like, that's wild.
Those apps have been around for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Alrighty. All right. So let's go across the pond with a little. All of us are dead. That's right. Netflix hit us with another banger from overseas. Specifically, Corey, your favorite films, right?
Yes.
How hard?
Smiling hard. Yeah, all of us are dead. I thought it was enjoyable. I liked it. And classic, I guess you would say, Corey, classic Korean film where you have the horror, you have the gore, but you have the emotion, you're building the characters, and it ends in some sort of gloom. But this one didn't end in the traditional gloom. It was pretty uplifting, but it did leave like, oh, what's gonna happen next? Okay.
Yeah.
We love confusing the audience in case you didn't watch stuff and then say what the actual film is about. So basically, just imagine being in high school and there's a zombie outbreak. Simple premise, right?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, your whole country pretty much gets shut down. What do you do? How do you act? Who do you love? Who loves you back? So it's pretty good. Would you guys recommend this film for this series for other people? And what are your thoughts as you were watching it?
All right, so while I was watching it, I did get a certain anime show that I used to watch vibes on. It used to be on Hulu or Crunchyroll called High School of the Dead.
It's still on Hulu.
It's still on Hulu. Yes, it feels like a watered-down version of that, and also Resident Evil. But would I recommend it? Yes, I would.
I did not watch it. This is one of the rare cases where I didn't get to watch a show. This is like the second time this has probably happened. Yeah. Yes. So I would still recommend it just because it's a Korean series.
Wow.
Cannot find a bad Korean show. I dare you.
Wow. Okay. I know even Willie was like, well, now I've got to go in the crates because, Oh, man. That's deep, man. You dare us to find a bad film? I mean, there's bad films everywhere. I mean, come on, man. You put some money down on that? Let's go.
If the audience could basically write down a bad Korean film,
send me the list.
Put it in the comments. Send it in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comment. All right. So, Book of Boba Fett. Do we need it? Did we need it? I mean, it was nice to see Jennifer Beal, but I feel like they really didn't use her acting skills too much in there. It's kind of like you just wanted to put a name in there. But it was nice to see her. I would definitely say Ming-Na Wen is holding down as one of the best supporting actresses of that. Again, I would like to see more of her, In fact, her character is actually more interesting than Boba Fett's character.
Well, she started in Mandalorian, so.
This is true, but I feel like Boba Fett is such a loved character. Why am I not feeling like this thing? Like, is it what's happening here? And the actor's great. What's his name? The actor that plays Boba Fett, Timura Morrison. I believe that's how you say his name. He's great. Commanding, right? Great voice. I mean, we saw him in the prequels. Do you guys have the solution to fix this, or is it just me, or you guys feel the same way?
It's just you.
No, it's not. Can't be.
No, it's not just him. I totally agree because there's moments where I kind of question certain things about this episode. I feel as though, okay, he should have just been stayed as a sub character for the Mandalorian, and probably they shouldn't even touch this. Just explain the origin, how he escaped, and keep it going.
Well, they did. Mm-hmm. So, all right. This is how I feel about it. And forgive me for saying this. If you're not that deep into Star Wars, you didn't love The Mandalorian. If you didn't love The Mandalorian, then you're not going to like Boba Fett because they went deeper than the lore that they're trying to build with this whole Mandalorian Boba Fett series. It's this whole section of Star Wars that they've read about and they are bringing it to the screen. So for me, I'm excited. There's a lot of little Easter eggs and stuff that's actually in Star Wars lore that is in this series. So that's what I get the feeling why people aren't really appreciating this.
Now, again, I didn't say the whole thing. I just felt specifically the Boba Fett character. I feel that his character is almost being upstaged by other characters.
Yeah.
And that should not be if this is the Book of Boba Fett. The Book of Boba Fett seems like it's the book of everybody else.
Yeah.
So, Willie, you shake your head. You talk to me now.
Yeah, no, like I still haven't seen the final episode, but while I was watching it, like it almost felt like at some point somebody else came in and started writing the story or directing it. Because like for those first few episodes, it was very Boba centric. And then when Mando showed up, Boba wasn't even really featured in. And I was like, I mean, I get it, it's a tie-in show with The Mandalorian. But even before that, like when you think about like when Mando first showed up in his episode, you still got to see Mando being like a badass. You know, like his first scene, even when he shows up, even though he still kind of got his butt handed to him a little bit, you got to see him hold it down. And you're like, yeah, that's why we like Mando. And I felt like in the first few episodes of Book of Boba Fett, I just kept seeing Boba get his ass handed to him. I was like, when is he going to get to have that moment where you're like, yo, this is his show now?
Right.
It's like everybody else kept showing up. It's like, I want to see more of Finnick. I want to see more of, I forget how to say his name, the Wookiee.
Yeah.
Evil Chewbacca.
Yeah, I can't say it. But like when he showed us, like, oh, I want to see more of him. And then even with the Tusken Raiders, I was like, man, I want to see a show about the Tusken Raiders. But like Boba was just kind of, every time he showed up, he kind of just got beat up and someone had to show up and help him out. And like, I was loving the show, but I was just like, man, I want Boba to have his moment, you know? And I felt like maybe he gets it in the final episode. Again, I still haven't seen it, but I can't recall any moment other than that train scene, which was like phenomenal, where they robbed the train.
That was amazing. That was great.
That was like, oh, that was such a good episode. But like, other than that, I was like, man, Boba doesn't get to do anything. And then you remember how he showed up in The Mandalorian and he just had that badass scene. And you really didn't get to see that again in his own series with his name in the title. You know, that's how I saw it.
I don't know. I feel so different from you guys because I'm appreciating the fact that he has been a lost character and they're basically filling in that timeline of what happened to him. And they're trying to bring you up to that day of when you see him being in the Mandalorian series. So
I'm smiling because I figured out Corey. And again, because we are live, but we also take this and put it on cable. We have like the time constraint. We're going to do an after show. We might even do more than one episode. So it's definitely more. We're going to have Willie talk about more stuff and B stuff. So we are going to end abruptly in a couple of minutes. But I just figured out Corey. See, when we talk conversation about music and film and stuff, Corey's really into the intent and the emotional thing to it. And I think we focus more on the execution.
Yes.
Like, I know you tried to win the basketball game, but you kind of didn't get the ball in the basket. Well, Corey would be like,
okay,
but he practiced for 14 weeks.
No. Let me tell you what it is. Corey is like the LeBron, while the rest of us, Scottie Pippen and Michael and
no, you can't.
Dennis Rodman.
So you guys are forgotten. Thanks for.
Wow. And on that note, what is everybody's social media? I can't. That was a bad example, bro. You kind of, I passed you the ball and you fumbled on that one.
Hey. I'm Scotty, okay?
Oh, man. All right. What's everybody's social media? Let's start out with Dayveonne.
Dayveonne on Instagram, Facebook, all the things.
Corey?
You can find me at IamGT3 on all of the things.
Cool. Willie?
For me, suicidal_assassin on Instagram and Willie J. Smith II on Twitter.
Excellent. Michael7. Michael, and we are so thankful that you guys join us into the new world after COVID, and thank you and for rocking with us and being supportive. And we will continue as one of the oldest crews doing this whole Comic-Con thing and talking about things. And we don't stay in this one little box. We kind of dance around a bunch of them. So thank you for riding with us. You're checking out GEEKCASTER. Anyone watching us live on Twitch, stay there because we're not going anywhere. All right. See you next week if you're watching on cable.